Had to have my 20-cent iced coffee made with my French press, manual French press. Okay. Something that I did to reduce suffering in the world is something that Jordan Peterson talks about. And it's interesting, and a lot of times when people tell me things or I hear certain things, I get a different concept of what they different interpretation of what they mean by what they said. And I understand what he talked about, reducing suffering in the world by not doing things to certain people. But one thing that I found that I did to reduce suffering, and even sometimes if it was short-term pain for a long-term gain for a lot of people that they just didn't know at the time. But what I did to reduce suffering in some cases was remove myself from the situation, or remove myself from people, not because I was hurting them, and if anything, intention, and not that I hurt people intentionally, but just the fact that sometimes you're better off not being in somebody else's life, or you're better off not being in a certain position, with friends or with family that will inevitably not just hurt you but hurt them also. So it was just very interesting hearing that the purpose is to a purpose in life can be to not cause more suffering to other people, and even and just to help people as much as you can, but not to the extent where you bury yourself and then they're above ground and then they're just there to have someone else who's gullible to help them beyond what they should be helping them in order to, and then you got another buried person. Because sometimes people can just suck the life out of you, and they're not doing it intentionally a lot of the times, most of the time, but it's up to the person who's helping to realize how much should I or can I help this person without burying myself. And that was something that I did with a lot of people these past 2 years. These past 2 years, I did a lot of, I call it trimming the fat. I got that from somebody else. I can't remember who said that, but it's called trimming the fat. And I even cut myself from other people, and they just like, yo, like what the hell happened to Bryce? What's going on with him? And they don't even know, like, in some situations the relationship, was, or it could have been it was toxic in a way that they probably didn't see. And a lot of times people get stuck and get used to being in a toxic environment, and me removing myself from the toxic environment helped some of those other people who were friends and family of mine, help them actually remove their self also from their own toxic environment, or from a toxic environment that they were in with other people who were also stuck in being in a toxic environment. Which inevitably, if you're in a toxic environment, a lot of time you can't go to other people and help other people out because you're so toxic. All you doing anytime you get close to somebody or when you're with someone, all you do is poison their environment, even if their environment isn't as toxic, and you add your toxicity to theirs. Next thing you know, boom, 2 super toxic people, and then the more toxic people are around other people, you start to infect more people. So a lot of time when you cut yourself from that cloth, like I did, not saying that I was toxic, but I saw toxic situations, and I did have a few toxic ways. But when you are, and when you see that, you don't continue to just like, that'd be okay. You remove yourself, and then you go get some help. You go get a therapist, and you figure out, how do I make myself less toxic? How do I, and a lot of time, of course, that's removing yourself from a toxic environment so you can begin to, exert the toxicity from your body, into the ground, where it can be transformed into something not so toxic. It can be neutralized. And a lot of time that's what therapy definitely did for me, and I know it can help a lot of other people who don't, of course, get that help. But it's just not causing pain and stress in the world for no reason. I've had friends who literally just want to cause stress and want to cause pain to other people for no reason. And it's not even pleasurable to these people. It's not even like, damn, motorcycles. I'm in South Beach. Jesus Christ, these motorcycles, they always up and down. But people want to cause stress to other people for no reason. Like, it's not even, and they waste their time. It's not even pleasure for themselves to cause pain to other people. They literally do it just to do it. And that was one thing. I've definitely never been that person to like just cause people pain for no reason and just do it intentionally. But because it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of energy, and and you don't want to surround yourself, or you don't want to expose yourself too much to people like that, to where they can cause that toxic behavior to spill over onto you, to make you even more toxic. So once I started doing things that would make the world better, which means taking myself out of certain situations and putting myself, even just being by myself, and getting the help that I need and letting other people know about the help that they may need in certain situations when they ask for help, it made life better, not just for me but for everybody. Like, you would have seen my environment from now, if you would have seen my environment 2 years ago compared to where it is now, and I'll have to say like tens of people, 10 to 20 people that I've literally helped in a way that they don't even know, and that's from either removing myself from them, or them removing themselves from the environment they were in, or them wondering like, oh, like, why is Bryce doing this? And they know why I'm doing what I'm doing. Then they're like, oh, like, man, that sounds like me too. Like, maybe I need to go and do what Bryce is doing, remove myself from a situation. And you see how it go from me neutralizing myself to people realizing they need to neutralize themselves. Oh, it went blurry. No, don't do that. Why is it blurry? Why is it doing that? Okay. So it went from me neutralizing myself to people realizing they need to neutralize themselves, which ultimately means if there's anybody around them, it's possible that they can help those people realize that they need to neutralize themselves also and get out of the toxic environment that they were in. So I probably helped even more than 10 to 20 people within the past 2 years, because it spreads just as quickly as toxic behavior. So I just had to get on and talk about that real quick, because I was watching Jordan Peterson this morning, and I love human psychology and wondering and figuring out why we do what we do. Also help from Simon Sinek, the book Start With Why. But it's just very fascinating on how you can actually help the world in a way that no one even knows. You know yourself if you realize it, but no one really knows how to, how their actions will affect the world. And I feel like the actions that I took 2 years ago really helped, impact the world in a way that it spread through. I'm pretty sure people that I don't even know, it probably impacted people in a extremely positive way, that if I didn't change what I did and didn't get the help that I needed to get, and didn't help other people who wanted the help, that it's a possibility that things could have been a lot worse off in the world for a lot of other people. But it feels good knowing that I made that difference, and even making a difference that I have no idea about, changing people's lives that I have no idea, I don't even know these people. It's just a good feeling. So I encourage everybody to get the help that you need. Take yourself out of toxic environments. Don't create toxic environments, and don't drag people into your own selfish world. It's not worth it. It's better to help than to hurt. Yeah, I ended there. Gotta drink my 20-cent iced coffee like Graham Stephan be saying. I made it. I make so much. I make all my own coffee now. I don't buy any Starbucks. I don't do any Dunkin' Donuts. Nothing. So, cheers to you.